All right, hello everybody. Welcome to a Know Before You Go Commencement Live. I am so happy to be here today with our awesome guests from Registrar. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. But before we get started, just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Emily Williams. I'm social media specialist for Enrollment Services Communications and Marketing. And one of my amazing clients for socials is Registrar. So I've been with KSU since December of 2022, and then I graduated in May of 2023 with an English degree. So super excited to be here and talk a little bit about commencement and the process. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Marty and Paul to introduce themselves. So whichever one of y'all wants to go first.
Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Marty Richardson, and I am the Director of Curriculum Support and Graduation in the Office of the Registrar. I've been with KSU since 2015. And our office is responsible for everything related to students graduating from KSU, along with their degree works audit, making sure all of our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. And we also handle all course substitutions.
Awesome. Thank you, Marty. Yes, I am Paul Parker. I'm the Executive Director and Registrar in the Office of the Registrar at Kennesaw State. I have been at KSU now 12 and a half years. It's hard to believe, and been 4 years in the Office of the Registrar.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. So today in this live, we're going to be talking about all things commencement. So the ins and outs of anything to do with commencement, graduation. And that kind of leads me to my first point. I was going to ask y'all, we say the word commencement a lot, we say graduation a lot. Can you explain the difference between those two?
Yes. So commencement is a ceremony. All right. Graduation is the actual process of the audit process, the final audit process, and the compliance portion of every student's degree requirements. So once our office performs that audit, then that student is graduated. Yeah. But participating in commencement does not constitute graduating.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to be talking specifically about commencement today, so the ceremony itself. So I'm going to give it to whoever one of you wants to answer. Can you kind of walk us through the general process of what a student has to do if they're graduating and they want to participate in commencement?
Marty.
Okay. You got it, Marty.
All
It's
right,
all on
great.
you.
All right. So a student needs to petition to graduate, first and foremost. You can petition to graduate. You can find those deadlines on the registrar's website. And you can also find them on commencement at kennesaw.edu. Once the student petitions to graduate, then we perform the audit process. From there, the students that are ready to graduate in the next upcoming commencement term are uploaded to Marching Order, which is our commencement RSVP platform. So all students who intend on attending commencement must RSVP through that platform. And we have specific deadline dates that are posted. This term, it's the 12th of April. So 11:59 p.m. on April 12th. If that deadline is missed, there's nothing we can do after that fact because Marching Order downloads the data.
Yep. So basically, don't show up the day of commencement expecting if you haven't done the process.
Absolutely.
So I did the process, like I said, in May of 2023. Huge shout out to y'all and to Event Venue Management and everyone involved because it is a really smooth process from what I went through. And so Registrar, EVM, they make it really, really easy for that process to be super easy. So with that, can you talk a little bit about the ticketing process and how that works and how people get their tickets?
Absolutely. For all the students who have gone into Marching Order and RSVP'd, then on April 18th, they should be looking at their KSU emails to get their 4 guest tickets, which will be emailed to their KSU email account. Then on 4/25, which is April 25th, they'll have the opportunity to go out and purchase an additional 2 tickets. Based on the number of students in each ceremony through RSVP, we're going to try to guarantee at least students get 4 free tickets and an additional opportunity to purchase 2 additional tickets. The email will go out on April 18th at 10 a.m.
We've got a cheat sheet back
Yeah,
here.
cheat sheet.
I love it.
And it's also on the website. But the key thing is at 10 a.m. on April 18th, I want to say 10-ish, technology can be quirky at times. That's when everybody who's RSVP go out there and search for their the email with their 4 tickets. Then on 4/25 at 10 a.m., the ticketing portal will be open no sooner than 10 a.m. at 10 a.m.-ish, based on technology.
Yeah, like that.
So that's the ticket window. So April 18th and April 25th.
Yeah.
And that's only if students have RSVP'd into marching order. If a student did not go into marching order and RSVP, they're not going to get the email with their 4 guest tickets, and they will not be able to purchase tickets.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So we kind of talked a little bit about the lead up into commencement day itself. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the day of your commencement. And so this is for guests and graduates, but we'll talk specifically about graduates for a minute. So where are graduates going to go first thing when they get there?
Yes, we're asking all of the graduates, undergraduate students and graduate students who are participating in commencement to park in the central parking deck. Yes, that might be a little bit farther away, but it also opens up more opportunities for their guests to park in the east deck. So we're asking for all of the graduates to park over into the central deck, and then we'll have signs that will guide you to the Siegel Student Recreation Center. That is the place for you all to check in. You'll be getting your grad pass. Once you check in, we'll go through all the opportunities and for you to participate in the ceremony. You have the opportunity to also get your photo taken with our professional photographers. Scrappy will be there, your friends and your classmates and some of your faculty as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you answered all these questions that I had. You nailed it. You nailed it. Just nailing it. So yeah, so my next question was, what will the process be like once inside the rec center? So like you said, Scrappy's going to be there, photographers. It's a really easy process, and then registrar representatives will be there as well to kind of guide you through exactly where you need to go. They make it super, super easy, so that's great.
Right, and in addition to that, we will be in the forecourt gym, right, in the rec center, and we'll be located in the first court where students will pick up their grad passes. It's important this time around that students bring their ID cards with them to present at check-in so that we know we're giving the right card to the right person. So just a shout out there to please remember to bring your ID card.
And bring your regalia.
And bring your regalia, and preferably have it on.
Yes.
Preferably have it on before you get to check-in.
Yes.
From check-in, then the students will have their photos taken, and they'll have an opportunity to choose the type of background that they'd like in their photo. We're going to have about 3 or 4 options, I believe.
Awesome.
And from there, then it's the alumni table, and there'll be a QR code on the grad pass card that is alumni related only, and they have a few gifts that they'd like to give our graduating students. So on over to the alumni table, and from there, then they will be seated.
Awesome, cool. So that next question, how are graduates arranged to sit? So a lot of like high school commencement graduations, those are going to be by alphabetical. So are we that, or how's the process?
We are not alphabetical.
Yep.
We are, however, seating, excuse me, by college, by level. Excuse me. And please remember, it's not alphabetical.
Not
so
alphabetical.
don't worry about that, but you will be guided, the students will be guided to their correct seating area.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another...
The one note is, based on when the graduate checks in, is based on college and level, where they'll be seated. Those who show up late may be in the back with their college. If friends want to sit together and walk together, they kind of need to be seated together.
Yep, that was the next point I was going to make too. So if you have friends that you're graduating with that you want to walk right next to or anything like that, just make sure you get there early and sit with them.
And then, I don't know if there's an additional question, but one thing we want to make sure is as you're coming in to check in, that you're not bringing a whole bunch of stuff with you, because once we leave the rec center, we're going straight over to the convocation center, so you're not going to be able to take those items with you. There will be lockers in the rec center for individuals who need to leave phones or clothes they could put in there as well.
Yeah, For sure. And then with that too, just a little pro tip, whenever I graduated, I had a fanny pack on underneath my regalia. So you're able to kind of stick what you need in there. So if you have like a mini hairbrush or lip gloss, your ID, of course. And so you can put whatever you need in there as well. So that's my recommendation. But yeah, like you said, that's perfect.
Yeah, and there is a pocket also.
Yes.
On
Yes.
the right
Oh, that was
side
the
of
best.
the regalia.
That was the best. You can put your phone in there. So if all you want to bring is your phone and your ID and you'll have your card, slip it right into that pocket. So great point. Awesome. So just shifting a little bit, could y'all tell us a little bit about the difference between Latin honors, the honors college, and national honor societies? We throw honors around a lot.
Right.
So can you kind of explain the difference? And we also have a link that we can drop in the chat with all of that as well.
So Latin honors are those honors that appear on the diploma and on the transcript. Latin honors require 30 hours in residence. This is for undergraduates only, by the way. So 30 hours in residence, and it's 3.5 for cum laude, 3.7 to 3.89 for magna, and 3.9 to 4.0 for summa. And for those students out there that have a 4.0, we do have a special tassel for them. As you can see right here, the white tassel. So if our 4.0 students have not picked up a tassel prior to your commencement ceremony time, you may pick it up in the office of the registrar at either the Marietta campus or the Kennesaw campus, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So our National Honor Society honors are honors that are recognized through the college, and the registrar's office does not have anything to do with those honors. So any particular type of sashes or cords, those come directly from that honor society. And the honors college is a entity here at school that one must apply to be accepted to. There are specific courses of rigor that are included in the program of study. And those honors are also recognized at commencement. So they'll have, if applicable, the Latin honor announced and the honors journey college honors announced.
Yeah, and then I would say if you're in like a club or organization, speak directly to them about any additional tassels, cords, stole things, anything like that.
And veterans can check in with our Veterans Resource Center, and they
awesome.
can provide stoles for the veterans.
Awesome, cool, good to know. So after the ceremony is over, so students have gone on stage, they've gotten their diploma, they've walked across, and they have taken their picture, sat back down, everybody's finished. What is that process going to be when we're ending the ceremony?
Yes, it'll be very easy that once we know when the ceremony is complete, the president will acknowledge that. The platform party will walk off the stage and a special guest will come back on, do the fight song with everybody, throw up the tassels and the caps for those who want to do that. And then we'll have the processional outside the convocation center in an orderly fashion, following our guides. And then we want everybody to go, if weather's permitting, to go out onto the campus green to participate in the KSU Alumni Association's Forever Owl Fest. It's a great opportunity to mingle and celebrate with their family and friends. There'll be some photo opportunities at the KS. The Alumni Association will be providing a free gift, so they'll have a tent to provide the free gifts. There's food and some games for the little ones. So it's a great opportunity to move on out of the Convocation Center and right out onto the green for a Forever Owl Fest.
Yeah. It's really, really fun. I loved the Forever Owl Fest.
Yes.
I think everything, like I said, went really, really smoothly. So with that being said, take advantage of all of the free stuff. So like I said, alumni is going to be out there. A lot of the different colleges are
Yes.
also out there. So I graduated from Rideau Humanities and Social Sciences, and they had a booth, and they gave us like a special pin. So take advantage of that, which is really, really cool. And then also, we recommend taking or planning a meetup spot with
Yes.
your family or friends, your guests. So just make sure you do that because there's a lot of people and a lot of people wearing the same thing. So make sure you plan a meetup spot. So if you want to meet by the KS sign or meet by a certain bush somewhere or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Emily. We really would like to move everybody away from the exit doors because that just helps get everybody out into Forever Owl Fest or over to the parking deck. Because if everybody waits at the doors, the people still inside the Convocation Center cannot exit. That's the same for the graduates as well as for the guests.
Yeah, and there's also if you're in the morning ceremony, there's going to be a ceremony in the afternoon as well. So you want to be respectful of everybody who's coming in for that.
Yes.
So how long does each ceremony last? Because I know there are some universities that have like really, really long ceremonies. So I'm happy to say that we don't have that, but about how long would it be?
The maximum is usually about 2 hours. Everybody should at least plan on 2 hours. We will have one speaker at one of the ceremonies, but then for the most part, usually the average ceremony is usually about an hour and a half.
Perfect.
It also depends on the number of graduates participating in the ceremony. So everybody can plan for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if you're planning for lunch or dinner plans, easily 2 hours, and then I would say you want to plan for at least 30 minutes out on the green for Forever Owl Fest.
Yeah, absolutely. Go get that free stuff and take pictures with Scrappy and your family and all that good stuff. So awesome. So you mentioned Forever Owl Fest, and we kind of talked through that already, but like I said, really great opportunities over there with your college, your friends, photo ops. So big shout out to alumni for hosting that for us. So I kind of want to shift a little bit and go into guests now. So we talked about graduate information. Before we do that, I'm going to see, do we have any questions? Awesome. Okay, so it's moving right on through to guests. So want to clarify first that registrar works very closely with event and venue management. So for guests, all of these policies and stuff, if you have any questions, those aren't going to be directly for registrar. Those are going to typically be for EVM. So we'll drop a link in the chat for event venue management and how they work. But we're going to kind of move on over to guests. So mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, they all arrive. Where do they go when they first pull up to KSU?
Yeah, and I just want to add to regards to tickets, the ticketing, the box office is fully responsible for all ticketing.
Yep.
Access to tickets, if you get an email and you're having problems with the technology, please contact the box office or the ticket office. The office of registrar doesn't handle the ticket.
And also that children under 3 don't need a ticket.
Yeah, just to reiterate, children under the age of 3, they're going to sit in the lap, do not need a ticket.
Awesome. Perfect.
So basically, for your guests who are coming on to campus, please note that we're asking that they'll park in the east deck, which as you all know is the parking deck between the rec center and the convocation center. That's quick access for them to come right on into the Convocation Center. We're still asking for all of the students and the participants in commencement to park in the the central parking deck. What they're going to do is you come in from the east parking deck. The gates are not to the Convocation Center are only going to open up an hour and a half before the ceremony. So when you're looking at a 10 a.m. ceremony, the doors will open up at 8:30. Even though the rec center is opening up at 8 for check-in for the participants, the Convocation Center will not open until an hour and a half before each ceremony. So your guests can arrive when you are, have time, get a good parking spot. If the weather's permitting, they can come in, they'll wait outside. But please note, if anyone gets there before an hour and a half, they'll have to wait before going into the Convocation Center.
Yeah, for sure. And then can you talk a little bit about ADA parking and how that's going to work?
Yes, there is ADA accessibility in the Convocation Center for seating. Usually that's on a first come, first served basis. There is information on our website related to all ADA accommodations as well as parking. There is parking on campus. It will be identified as you're coming in. To whichever way you're coming into campus, there'll be signs that says handicap parking, ADA parking. Follow those signs. There will be individuals there with golf carts to help those individuals who need to be transported to the front doors of the Convocation Center. They've made some changes or working on some those ADA parking. So just follow the signs, go to the website beforehand, kind of get an idea where that parking is going to take place, and get there early enough to get parking. But someone will get you from that parking, regardless of how far you think it is. There will be golf carts there to transport the guests who need ADA parking to the front doors of the Convocation Center.
Absolutely, that's awesome. And once again, that's through accessibility. So you guys Registrar works very closely with EVM, accessibility, the different colleges. So there's lots of moving parts here. So if you have any questions about that, accessibility will be on the Contact Us page on the Commencement website. So like I said, EVM does handle a lot of this, but can we talk a little bit about like the clear bag policy, prohibited items? Because I know people are going to want to come in with all sorts of great stuff, balloons and glitter and tripods and stuff. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Both the guests who are going to come in through the Convocation Center will have to go through the metal detectors through security. It is clear bags only. Anyone that does not have a clear bag will have the opportunity to either go back to the car and put it back in their vehicle, or there's a tent where they can pay, I think, $5 or a donation to check their bag there. But you want to make sure clear bags only, no balloons, no tripods, no air horns, artificial noise makers, and no large signs. And so also I want to just remind the students who are participating, you'll be going through a metal detector too over in the Siegel Rec Center as well. So we've got security in both facilities. There'll be security in between as well to protect. And we'll have signs up from the parking decks reminding the guests not to bring those items in, because you will not be able to bring those items into the Convocation Center.
Yeah. And they also have people who are stationed right at the parking deck who, if they see you coming out with the big old purse, they'll let you know. That way you don't walk all the way up there. But just to make it easier on you and everyone else who's there, just clear bags are kind of the most common one we see.
Yes.
But on the website, there's a full extensive list of everything that's prohibited and all that good stuff. So yeah, we've already talked about when the doors open, so you said an hour and a half prior to the ceremony. And also afterwards, I know you mentioned this, but just allow plenty of time. So if you make reservations or anything like that, make sure that you're good to go there. And then, yeah, after parking, where should guests go? You covered it. Do children need tickets? You covered it. Under 3 if they're sitting in the lap. And then a little bit more about ADA. Can you talk about, are we going to have sign language interpreters? Are we going to have live captioning? Do you know how that's going to work?
Yes. Once everyone's in the Convocation Center, there'll be signs and there'll be kind of ushers helping individuals to get seated for the guests. And as for those who are familiar with the Convocation Center, at the top level, they'll have ADA seating there for those in wheelchairs or needing that extra space. But we do have a sign language individual who gets up and stands on the platform as the president or the guests are speaking. Once the ceremony begins, we do have the 2 large screens that will have the individual up. There is transcribe on both sides of the Convocation Center for those who can read as well. The name of the individual in regards to what's on the screen as it's announced as well.
Yeah. I thought the live captioning was so cool.
Yes.
I think it's really, really neat. And then obviously the sign language interpreter, but the live captioning is super neat.
Yes.
So that's really, really cool. So kind of shifting a little bit before we wrap up, let's talk about like concessions and gifts. So what is going to be available on site?
Well, the Convocation Center will have a full concessions that will be available. The bookstore will be set up in there as well, selling their normal graduation gifts items. There is also usually a tent on the outside that will sell flowers for individuals who want to purchase flowers for their graduate. So those are both, the flowers are outside, the concession stand with drinks, popcorn, food, snacks is on the inside, and then right inside the double doors of going into the Convocation Center would be set up with the bookstore to get their graduate a gift.
That's another person y'all work with very closely,
Yes.
is the bookstore. So like I said, lots of moving parts there, which is
Yes.
really cool. So do y'all have anything else that you want to mention before we wrap up? And then I'll say if we have any questions in the chat. So anything y'all want to mention or?
My only thing I like to mention is if you haven't RSVP'd, but you've petitioned to graduate for summer and or spring, to go out to marching order and complete that RSVP as soon as possible. The deadline is April 12th. After April 12th, there's no exceptions. Just make sure if you got questions, go to the website. We've got the celebration important dates are out there. There's what to know. There's a Q&A. There's opportunities if they do have questions, they don't find it there, who to contact to get that information.
Awesome. So questions from the chat. Awesome. We're going to get some questions real quick before we wrap up.
Okay, so we do have a question from Olivia. For our students who are graduating, how early should they arrive for check-in?
Great question, and that was something we didn't get a chance to cover, so I'm glad we're getting that question. I personally, as the registrar, like to see people, if we open at 8, there by 9 o'clock, because the key thing is for a 10 a.m. ceremony, we're going to start at 9:30. We've got announcements. We've got to kind of talk through the whole thing. And then from basically like 10 till 10 minutes to the ceremony, we're leaving the rec center to process over to the convocation center so the ceremony can start right at 10 a.m. And it never fails, as we're walking out the rec center, we have individuals not dressed in regalia, running up with high heels on or tennis shoes, trying to jump in line, and it doesn't work that way. Anybody who shows up basically after 9:30-ish will not have the opportunity to get their photo taken inside with their friends or with Scrappy. They may miss the walkover to the convocation center, and then we have to send them over to the convocation center and be put at the end of the line because they have to get their grad pass card. So I recommend, I love the early bird to get there right as we open the doors, even though they're sitting for 2 hour and a half. You get in, you get your photos taken, you get your regalia all set up, you have your grad pass card, and you're ready to go 30 minutes before the ceremony goes. Do you want to add anything to Marty? Did I cover everything?
I think you covered.
Okay. I still want that is a very, very important to get there. Everyone needs to be checked in no later than 30 minutes before their ceremony starts. And yes, we live in Atlanta and the metro area, so you have to account for traffic. It never fails. With spring, we can have bad weather, we can have an accident. So plan accordingly as you and your guests are trying to come to the convocation center.
Any other questions?
I think we have 2 more. Our next one comes from Jennifer. I know we mentioned the extra tickets. How much are they?
They're $5.
$5.
Yeah, so it's $5 per ticket. Students will have the opportunity to purchase an additional 2 tickets, $5 a piece, so an additional $10.
So the first 4 are allotted to them,
Yes,
no charge?
3, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Now, and I will say for students who may only need getting 2 tickets, they get, say like Emily, you were a student and you only needed 2 tickets, you got 4, you could share the additional 2 tickets with a friend.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's the opportunity to share those additional tickets that someone's not using, they can share. So even though you have 4 free ones, you purchase in 2, and you may need additional ones, talk with a classmate, another one of your students who's participating in your ceremony, who may not be using their 4 tickets. They may, all of their 4 tickets, or may not need to purchase 2 additional tickets, but they can purchase the 2 additional tickets to you and share. But we are at 6, there will not be any available after that, because we're trying to ensure everybody gets 6 based on the ceremony.
Yeah. So actually for me, that's a great point. I got my 4 tickets allotted, and then I bought my 2 additional ones because I thought that certain people were coming. And then stuff came up, they weren't able to come, and I had these 2 tickets, and a classmate needed 2 more tickets. And I was just talking to him in class one day, shout out to Morgan, talking to him in class one day, and he was like, oh, I'm so worried because this person can't come. And I was like, I gotcha. And I gave him those tickets, and it was great. So definitely talk to your classmates. Yeah. People are going to be willing to give you those tickets. I bought those tickets. Like I said, it was $10. And yeah, it was great. He was able to have his family there, his whole family. So it was really, really nice. Awesome. Any more questions?
Our last one, this is a great one from Lindsay. For those that can't attend commencement, is there a way they can watch online?
That is our last bullet point.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yes. You wanna...
Sure. Yeah. Each ceremony is live streamed, and there is a link at the bottom of the commencement webpage. So do you know when that goes live? Is it right at start of ceremony time?
Yes, it's right out.
So at 10 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and so on.
Yeah. But the information's on the website. You can actually, the videos or the ceremonies from last year are on there, so that's going to be the same website. Each ceremony will be live streamed, probably 5 minutes before you can log in and get ready, and then right at the hour 10 and 3, it'll start from there, and you'll be able to see those graduates walk over, and on the live ceremony, the information for this, the individual will be presented as well.
Also, we do have a stage clip that every student will. Yeah, so the stage clip is usually available about 24 to 48 hours after the ceremony that the student can download and can share. It's about a 5-second clip, a little longer for our doctorate students, obviously, but that is shareable on social media and with family and friends. So it's just them and no other students in the picture, just them and the president. And it's great.
And that's where the students will need to be monitoring their KSU email.
Yes.
They'll get the email about stage clip, and then we'll also get possibly the email from the photographer about purchase of their photographs at commencement.
Yeah, so for me it was great because my family had gotten a video of me walking across the stage, but they were screaming so loud that I didn't hear my my Latin honors announced. So I got that video, and it's just the audio and the video. It doesn't have any of the screaming in the background or anything like that, so I have that. When I saw the video, I was like, oh no, did they not announce my Latin honors? But of course they did, and I got that video, and it was great. So those are
I think
really, really
every
nice.
ceremony I get an email or a phone call from a parent that says something wasn't announced because they were all yelling and screaming.
Yes.
And then we go back and listen and see the stage clip. Yeah, it was clearly, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody's opportunity to yell and cheer, but sometimes when they're yelling and cheering, they don't hear exactly what was pronounced.
I didn't hear anything. I was so nervous. I heard nothing. I was just, but it was great. So awesome. Any more questions from the chat or anything like that? Awesome. Okay. So any final sentence?
No, I just want to congratulate you all for all the hard work you've done to get to this point. Just make sure you follow our dates and deadlines to get those RSVPs in. Make sure you're checking your KSU student email address to get the 4 guest tickets. If for some reason or another you did not get that email, first make sure you've RSVP'd through marching order. You would have received some type of email confirmation. If you have issues with tickets, reach out to the box office and or the ticket office via their website, or you can call them. That information's on our website. April 25th is the opportunity at 10 a.m. to go out and purchase the additional 2 tickets at $5 per ticket. And once again, if you have not already done so, I think one thing they recommend is to go out and restart researching the ticket portal, log in, make sure you've logged in, because a lot of the issues we've seen with students who have never logged in to get tickets at KSU through the portal.
Yep.
For those who have already done that, it'll be a really smooth process.
Awesome. All right, well, congratulations to all of our graduates, family, friends of graduates. So we're gonna end with a big hooty hoo and some owl eyes. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be monitoring a little bit afterwards. So, all right, ready? Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.